So hi people, Woblin here again. I'm back after quite a long hiatus from the game, and I'm making another tutorial video today. The theme of this one will be how to get money in Elite Dangerous. So you've been playing for a while, you have a little bit of money saved up, maybe 500,000 credits, and you've probably gotten this from doing courier missions or transport missions, and if you're brand new to the game, I have a couple of videos on both of those, and I'll put links in the description. But now you want to get some of those bigger ships, and you need to make some more money. So to do that, I'm going to show you how people earn the big bucks in this game and how to get started in that, and that is through mining. So I'm going to take one of the cheapest ships. We're going to start with an adder, and we're going to outfit it for laser mining. I'll show you how to find a spot to do your mining, where to sell your goods, and how to make money doing that. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, then you can donate. There's a link in the description for that, but let's get right into it. So I'm starting off at the beginning. When you first come into the game, you spawn into one of these bookmark spots here. These are the starter zones. You can't enter them after you finish the beginning of the game, so I've gone to a system very close to there. And the first thing you're going to need to do is find out where you can buy a ship to use for mining. And we're going to find out where we can buy the adder and where we can buy all the things that we need for the adder. So I've put a link in the description for some of the different ship builds you can use. We're going to go to the adder, and you can see it on my screen now. This is the build we're going to be using for the adder. You can see very basic things. This is pretty much everything that came with it in the core internals. And if you look down at the bottom here, you can see this ship costs about 387,000 credits to outfit, and about 20,000 credits to rebuy. And the rule is never fly without a rebuy, so make sure you have at least 3 times that rebuy value. So I said at the beginning, start with maybe about 500,000 credits and you'll be fine. So we need to find out where you can buy the rest of these modules. And if you have extra money, I would recommend upgrading some of these core internals. The power distributor is going to be very important, the thrusters, and the frame shift drive particularly. Those are the 3 I would focus on. And then the power plant. You might need to upgrade that just to make sure you have enough energy to power all of these new modules. Okay, so to find out where you can buy these modules, you're going to need to use this website here. So this is EDDB, and we're looking at stations, and all of these links will be in the description as well. So first you need to put in your reference system here. I'm in the station LSE239. You can see it's founded, so I just click on that. I want to buy an adder. And now I need to put in all the different modules that I need. So we're going to need a 3E cargo rack, 2 of them in fact. We're going to need a 2D shield generator. We're going to need a 2E refinery. And I'll explain what all of these do later. But we need a 1C collector limpet controller, a 1D prospector controller, and a detailed surface scanner. And then for our hardpoints, we're going to also need a 2D mining laser. So that is pretty much everything we're going to need. And now we'll just click Find Stations, and EDDB is going to search all of the stations that sell everything that we want. The closest one is 9.66 light years away, and it's quite close to the jump-in point, so this arrival distance is very important. If you've ever been to Hutton Orbital, you know it takes about a half an hour to fly there because this is about 500,000 light seconds away. Good, and this is the system we're going to. So Buro Janura, and we're going to head to Griffith Station. So I'm just going to copy that, and now we'll go back into the game, open up our galaxy map, and enter that in to our destination. And let's head on over there. So I'm going to fly over to Griffith Station, and you'll hear from me again when I get there. Okay, so we've arrived in Griffith Station, and now we're going to buy our ship and outfit it. So we'll go into the shipyard and look for the adder. And here we are in our brand new adder. So next we go to outfitting, and we need to buy all of the modules that we're going to need for it. So we start with hardpoints. We'll get rid of these ones that came with it. We don't need any defense. And now we can install our fixed 2D mining laser. Okay, next we'll go into optional internal. We're not going to get any utilities, and we're going to leave our core internals the way they are, because we're trying to make this as cheap as we possibly can. So first we'll get rid of this shield generator. And now we're going to install our two 3E cargo racks. Next we're going to get a smaller shield, so we need that 2D shield generator. And I chose the 2D because it's the lightest, so the 2E might be a little cheaper, but the 2D is going to be a little bit lighter. Okay, next we need our 2E refinery. So when our collector limpets are out running around, and I'll explain those in a second, but when they're out running around collecting these little bits that we shoot off the asteroids, we need to turn those bits into material that we can sell, and the refinery is going to do that for us. Okay, we need these collector limpets that I mentioned, and we're just going to buy the cheapest one we can here, the 1C collector limpet. If you want to know what these limpets do, what these different grades and classes do, I'm going to put that in the information below as well. And now we need a prospector limpet. So these are the ones we're going to fire into our objects to find out if they have what we want in there, and we're going to get a 1D prospector limpet. And finally, the most expensive bit, we're going to need that discovery scanner. So this is going to tell us where these hotspots are. And that's going to be almost 250,000 credits. So that's by far the most expensive part of this entire build. Okay, now our ship is fully outfitted, ready to start, but we have to set our fire groups. So we're just going to go into that right panel and assign our fire groups. So I don't have a lot of buttons on my controller, which means I try and keep things very simple. So what I'm going to do is first put my prospector limpet on 1, my collector limpet on 2, and my mining laser on the same button as my collector limpet. So when I'm shooting the asteroid with my mining laser, I'm also firing collector limpets at the same time to collect everything that's coming off of the asteroid. And then I'm going to put my discovery scanner on 1 and my detailed surface scanner on 2. So the reason I don't mind overlapping these two is because the discovery scanner and the detailed surface scanner you mainly only use in supercruise, and the mining laser and the limpet controllers you use outside of supercruise, so these buttons don't really conflict with each other. So now that we've figured that out, we have to figure out where we're going to mine our material. And for that, we're going to use this resource called Miner's Tool. And like I said, this also will be in the description. So we're going to be mining Painite today. And the reason for that is it's a little bit closer and easier to get than low temperature diamonds. So low temperature diamonds you can get a little bit faster and you can make money a little bit faster with those. But Painite is by far easier to find. Okay, so first we're going to put our reference system in here, and this is where we bought our ship, where we're currently at. This is Buro Janura. And then we just have to tell it we're looking for Painite. And it's going to give us the closest Painite locations to our area. So right here we have these Painite overlaps. So that means these hotspots are overlapping, and that greatly increases the chance of getting that object in those overlaps. But we also see they're very far. So the first one is the closest, and it's 152.65 light years away. So with this ship, it's going to take forever to get there. This is going to be by far the most excruciating part of this process for you. So if we go back, we're going to take a look and see just how far that is away. So we put in our destination here, and we're going to plot a course there. And you can see this dotted line. That means that we're going to run out of fuel before we get there. And we're going to run out of fuel a long time before we get there. It's got us taking a long route. So if we go back here, we can see how far away is that? Well, it's 24 jumps. So you can find closer places, but you're not going to be able to fill your hold. So unfortunately, this is going to take you a little bit of time. And to get there, you have two choices. The one I don't recommend is that you stop along the way and you refuel. What I do recommend is you go back into outfitting and you get rid of your cargo rack and you replace that with a fuel scoop. So if you get the best fuel scoop you can, it's very expensive, but if you get, say, a 3D fuel scoop, it's quite a bit cheaper. And then you scoop stars on your way, and you can go there continuously for all of those jumps, and you just scoop the stars as you go. So you should do that, then store your cargo rack, and when you finally get to your destination, then you'll have it shipped there, or you can see if they'll buy another one, if you can buy another one there. Cargo racks are pretty easy to come by. So let's head over there, and I'll see you when the long flight is over, when you finally arrive in the destination GCRV 1568. Okay, we've just arrived in our system, and the first thing we're going to do is open up our system map, and we need to find a place where we can refuel and restock, because we're going to need to buy some collector limpets. But before we look for that, we're going to quickly go back to our web browser and take a look here. And you can see here in the system, GCRV1568, we're going to planet AB1 Ring A. That's where we're going to be mining. So we can see in our system map now that that's going to be this planet here, planet AB1, and when we get there we'll look at Ring A, and that's going to be the inner ring. But first we need to find a place to dock. So it looks like there is a dock at that location, and we'll just double check. They do have restock, and they have outfitting, so hopefully we can replace that fuel scoop with another cargo rack. So we're going to head over to that location first. So we'll point our way there, and I'll talk to you again when we get there. Okay, so we've arrived now at Cernan Dock, and the first thing we want to do is get rid of that fuel scoop and get another cargo rack. And the great thing about selling modules is you actually get 100% back from what you bought it for, whereas when selling ships, you lose 10% of what you paid for it. So anytime you want to sell a ship, it's always a good idea to first sell all of the modules to get as much money as you can back before selling the ship itself. So now we want to get rid of this fuel scoop, and hopefully they have cargo racks here. And lucky us, they do. So we replace that 3E cargo rack, and now we're ready to start mining. The last thing you need to do before going out, and this is easy to forget, I've done it many times myself, you have to buy your collector limpets, or your limpets. So you go into advanced maintenance, and head over to restock, and here's your limpets, and we're going to fill them all up. They're very cheap, 101 credits each. We'll probably end up getting rid of some of them, but that's okay. We want to make sure we have as many as possible, because we only have 16 chances to find our lucky asteroid. So now that we're ready, we're going to launch, and we're going to head to that location that was given to us, and look for that AB1, and head on over there. And I'll see you when I get there. I'm going to park just outside of orbit for the next step. Okay, so we're now up above the surface of the planet, and you can see all of these orange circles. So that's what you want to see, but of course you won't see that right away because you still need to use the surface scanner, which I'll show you how to do just now. But notice my HUD is blue, so that means I'm in analysis mode. If you were to be in combat mode, it would be orange, and you have to be in analysis mode in order to use this. So you switch over to analysis mode, and you change into your discovery scanner mode. So you have to fire these probes and hit the ring. So I'm going to show you how to do it. You just kind of line up there, and you can see it's going to say ring right in the circle there. And as soon as it does, that's when you want to fire, because you're trying to hit that inner ring there. Now, I've already hit it on a previous trip here, and that's why it's all lit up already. But as soon as that probe hits the ring, it's going to light up the entire circle, and then after it does, you'll see all of those little orange spots. So after you've done that, you need to go back out of that discovery scanner mode, and now we need to try and find these Painite hotspots. So you can see if I mouse over here, or if I point at different ones, here we have serendipite, all kinds of different stuff. But the easiest way, there's a Painite hotspot, is we're going to go into our left panel, and we're going to change our filters to show these points of interest. And now we can see all of these different hotspots. So we're looking for Painite. But we don't want just any Painite. You can see there's one. What we're looking for is that overlap. So the one we're looking at now looks kind of like it's only one. So let's point at that first one that I found there. We have some serendipite, some Painite over there, but it looks like a single one. So maybe we can find a couple very close to each other here in our map. So there's one over there that looks by itself. But here we just saw two there. So why don't we get a little closer to this, and you can see now that blob. That blob has a few of those orange circles overlapping. So we're just getting a little bit closer now. Looks like there's actually 3 blobs there. And once we get closer, we'll be able to tell what they are. Okay, so it looks like we have a Painite. There we go. So it looks like we have a Painite, a Serendipite, and up here another Painite. So these 2 Painite circles are overlapping. Now our goal is to get in that overlap area, and we want to try and get in the brightest spot possible, as close to the center of both overlaps as we can. So we're going to head down into there. You don't want to go too fast, but you also don't need to slow down that much. So we're going to drop right into that set of rings to start our mining. And anytime you drop into a set of rings, you have to be careful because these NPC pirates will spawn and they'll attack you if you have anything in your hold other than limpets. So make sure that you don't have any materials in there, any painite already. Otherwise, those pirates are going to attack you and take it from you, and you'll explode and die. So be very careful. You have to wait for them to scan you and then to leave. So this is our field of rocks. These metallic rocks in the rings around the planet. And notice I still have that Painite hotspot targeted, and that's going to stay targeted. So I recommend you keep that, and you can see it's in my little reticle to the left of my scanner. So you keep that, and that way you know which direction to keep traveling while you're mining, so that you don't get lost in here and turn around and find an asteroid you've mined already. So I'm just going to get into the rings, and we're going to wait a little bit until that pirate scans us and goes away, and you can see him in the map already. So I'll just stop here, and we'll wait until that happens. Okay, so the pirates have finally left, and now we can get started with our mining. So first we deploy our hardpoints, and we find a rock to fire one of our prospectors at. So make sure before you fire your prospector you're moving quite slowly, otherwise you end up running it over and breaking it, and these prospectors are very fragile. So our prospector is underway, and as soon as it gets in front of you, you want to target it, and that way as soon as it hits the rock you can see exactly what it's made out of. So it looks like our first rock has over 30%, and I usually try to mine only rocks in a double overlap that are over 30% or over 20% at the least. So you change to your mining laser and you start firing at it until the rock says that the minerals have been depleted, so it keeps track of how many minerals are remaining. And because we set up the fire groups how we did, you can see our collector limpet has also fired, and it's picking up our little bits and putting them into our hold. Just make sure that before you do this, your cargo scoop is open. Now these rocks are going to have a lot of other things in them. This one you can see has painite and gold, for example. So when those little bits are out floating around, you need to make sure you target them in the left panel under contacts, and you ignore all of the resources that you don't want. If you don't do this, then you'll see they go into your refinery, and you can see what's in your refinery by going to inventory and going down and checking what is in your hopper. So right now we only have painite, but if we do end up picking up something else, we're going to have to empty that hopper, and if we've picked up so much of it that we've actually manufactured part of it, then we're going to need to also abandon that from our cargo hold, because it's just going to be taking up important space that we need to put our painite or whatever object we're actually mining. So because we picked up so many limpets, it's possible that your cargo hold will get full. And if this happens, you just need to go into your right inventory panel and just abandon one of your limpets just to make enough space. So you don't want to abandon too much because you're going to need those collector limpets and those prospector limpets. So just abandon as many as you need to in order to keep mining and to keep those materials coming from your refinery into your cargo hold. And as soon as you're done with your first rock and you've depleted those minerals, find another one, fire your prospector limpet off into it and target it, and let your collector limpet pick up all of the little bits of painite that are around the first rock that you mined before moving on to the next one. But you can stay there and keep firing your prospectors at rocks until you find one with a nice high amount of minerals, of painite, before finally moving on to mine that one. And you just repeat this process until your cargo hold is full. Remember, if it gets full and you have limpets in there, just abandon one of them and eject it from your cargo hold to make space. And finally, after you've filled your cargo hold, you can still fill up those refinery bins. So you'll want to continue mining, make sure you have a collector limpet active, and continue mining until you've filled up the refinery bins as well. So your maximum hold is the total amount in your cargo hold and the total amount in each one of your bins. And then when you sell all of the material out of your cargo hold, which you'll see in just a moment, those bins will empty into your cargo hold, and then you can make a second sale of whatever was filled up in your refinery. Okay, so we've filled up our cargo hold and we've filled up our hopper, and you can see it took just under about 20 minutes, 19 minutes and 20 seconds for 18 units. So the next thing to do is to sell. So we're going to leave the rings and try and find the best selling point nearby us. So there's two ways to do this. First, we can use the website that we used previously, Miners Tools, and it tells us that there's a sale place about 24 light years away, and the price is going for $958,000 per unit. And that is a very good price. But to get the top price, you can go to Anara, which you can see here, enter your system, choose the commodity that you're looking to sell, and then click search. And this will bring up all of the sales prices near your area. Just make sure you filter fleet carriers off if they're on, because you can't trust a fleet carrier. And you can see here that, sure enough, Alvarez City is going to be the closest place to sell, and we can get 958,000 credits per unit. But one thing to take note of later is notice the quantity. That's the demand quantity. You want that to be about 4 times how much you're trying to sell. So right now that's fine, but if you had a ship that had 600 cargo and the quantity wanted is only 2,000, they're not going to give you that maximum price. So make sure that that demand is high enough. Then when you're ready, just target the system in your map, go there. But very important on your way there when you have a full hold is you're very likely going to get attacked by pirates. This normally happens right when you jump into a star system. You'll see that message come up where they say something stupid like, "Something juicy in your hold." And if that happens, either try and target the next destination as quickly as you can, or go into your system map, find a very nearby system, throttle down and submit. And then before actually getting interdicted, put your shields up to the maximum. And as soon as your frameshift drive cools down after being interdicted, jump to that nearby system. So you're going to find that jumping to a nearby system, your frameshift drive charges faster, and you don't get mass locked, so you can get away a bit faster than if you're trying to just go into super cruise. So just a friendly tip for you, you can also get interdicted there, or you can get interdicted when you're going from the star of your final destination to your sell point. So either way, in those two situations, just be as careful as you can. And I'll join you again when we get to our selling point, and we're almost done. Okay, here we are at Alvarez City. Time to sell and see how much we made. So we first go into the commodities market and click on the tab that says sell. Scroll down and you'll see highlighted what you have in your hold. We're going to sell our Painite. And it looks like we're selling them for $15 million, which is great. That is a very good price. And now after they've sold, the full bins have moved into your cargo hold. So you can see your cargo is back to 2. So just make sure you sell those as well to fully empty your hold. And you've just made about 18 million credits off of your 500,000 credit investment. Well done. So from here, you can upgrade to a better ship. I've posted links in the description to some of the different ships, how much they cost to outfit with the very basic build. You can try some more advanced builds, maybe some engineering. I've also given you some tips there. You'll find that in the description as well. But I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Like the video. If you want to donate to help me get some better equipment, then you can see the link in the description for that as well. And I stream a few times a week on Twitch. You can see the link for that in the description as well. But thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I wish you many successful mining runs and your billions to come in soon.